I think that all of this copy pasting, because it happened to me, dozens of times when I'm setting up analytics for a website, it's really cumbersome. And I would love to have something to automate that and pay $30 whenever I set up a new website. And I do that often.
Hey everyone. If you're a newcomer to Up for Grabs, basically me and Tom were both developers that turned into marketeers, and we're sharing our ideas, including all the product ideas, all the go-to-market ideas, and basically it's up for grabs. So Tom, go ahead. What do you have for us?
Sure. So I did a lot of analytics work way back when. Everybody knows Google Analytics, which is like the core analytics product for the web. A lot of people use it. It's essentially a way to track the visitors in your website. Not a lot of people know that there's also another product by Google called Google Tag Manager. It's very powerful, and I want to spend a quick minute explaining what it does. Tags, in the context of web analytics, are small JavaScript snippets, small bits of code that you put in your website and track a bunch of things that happen on the website. A few examples, you can have tags that check whether something happened regarding Google Ads. You can have tags that relate to recording of your website. You can have tags that relate to metrics, to AI, to A/B testing, to LinkedIn, a bunch of different things. Basically, everything has a tag, essentially. This can get messy. You add a lot of JavaScript to your website over time. It gets super messy. Google Tag Manager is a way to organize all of those little JavaScript bits into one container, one basically software. What you do is you put Google Tag Manager's tag on the website, and then it loads or unloads whatever like tags you want on top of it. Not gonna go into the actual details of how it's implemented. Also not interesting for the concept for this discussion. I want to talk about what actually happens when you want to add a new thing. Recently, I had the need to implement video watching tracking. So I wanted to have a way to have a person watch 30 seconds of a video, a minute of a video, a minute 30 of a video, basically track that they watch this far. I did that using a custom tag. I essentially wrote my own tag. You have a way of writing your own custom HTML and JavaScript here. I wrote my tag, and I had that tracking done for me. But oftentimes you don't want to rewrite things. A lot of people have the same needs. So you have a website that I really love called Analytics Mania. And what they have is a list of a bunch of different tracking, tagging stuff that exists for Google Tag Manager. If you scroll in their website, you can see if a visitor is using incognito mode, tracking Facebook comments, implementing cookie consent, a bunch of different things that you can do with.
And it's all sent to Google Analytics at the end?
Everything can eventually, not only Google Analytics, but it's tracked somewhere. An event happens and then it goes somewhere in the web, maybe some third-party vendor, but without those tracking snippets, the event will not be tracked. It will happen, but nobody knew that it did, essentially. Now,
Got it.
The problem with something like Analytics Mania, which is an amazing website, by the way, Julius, you're the man, is that you have to go and actually modify the script. There's a bunch of different steps here. You have to download the container, do a bunch of stuff, consider all the pros and cons, and so forth. Also, importantly, you have to personalize it. These scripts are usually more general. You have to add your own tracking ID. Each Google Tag Manager and container has their own kind of ID. You got to do a bunch of stuff basically to make it work, right? So what I ended up doing was using ChatGPT to do this for me. I would grab a snippet from somewhere, throw it into ChatGPT, and essentially have it customize and personalize and do it for me. This is
awesome. So you're actually like adding like the ChatGPT for the prompt. You add your ID and all those stuff that are personalized for you. You add that snippet, and then it kind of bundles it together so it works for you. So you don't need to do all the manual.
Yeah, because I don't really, like an ID usually in that case is not a secret, right? It's something that's visible to anybody who's visiting my website. So I don't mind just throwing it into ChatGPT, right? So just put it there and it works. Now,
I do throw secrets there. I don't care, but yeah.
Yes, but you're also a very insecure engineer, which is terrifying considering your background. So I think that maybe let's not tell the audience that. Now, moving on. What I want a thing that does this whole ChatGPT Google Tag implement thing for me. Essentially, I want to have a place where I pick a tag, for example, track video, input one time in the configuration all of the personalization, like the container ID and whatnot, and have it output a snippet that is then loaded automatically to Google Tag Manager and published to do it. That's what I want. Now, the problem with that is that it's a relatively small product. There isn't a lot of things here, right? It's a very simple thing to implement. It's a very simple thing to do. You authenticate with the Google Tag Manager API, and it works. The question is, why wouldn't I just do the work with ChatGPT? Excellent question. I think that all of this copy pasting, because it happened to me, dozens of times when I'm setting up analytics for a website, it's really cumbersome. And I would love to have something to automate that and pay $30 whenever I set up a new website. And I do that often. So I'd pay $30 to
Like
have
one.
something. Yeah, I'll pay $30 for every new website that I add this tool for, 100%. We'll talk about pricing in a minute, but that's what I would do. Now, before I go into go-to-market, Agam, any comments on the product technical side, something like that?
So I see two ways of implementing this. One way is an extension, another way is like a traditional SaaS. I would probably, I didn't think about this too deeply, but my first intuition thought is to do it as a SaaS. So you kind of connect you have like a Google OAuth sign in, and I guess you have an API for the Google Tag Manager and you can inject all those things there. And that way you can also pretty simply add Stripe on top and just add a one-time payment for that. So you have a one-time payment per domain, you inject all that stuff, and then the application can also revoke the authentication if you want. So it's only a one-time thing. So it's like a one-time process. And the cool thing, it already gives me like go-to-markets if you want me to jump there.
Please.
Unless you want to add more on the... Okay, so what you can also do with that is you can create landing pages for each one of these use cases. And in each landing page, you'll have a call to action that directly does that, right? Because I want a one-click button that I pay the $30 or whatever, and it does whatever I want to add. So it adds like video tracking or, I don't know, checking the incognito or whatever. You do a blog post for each of those. And I guess you can also come up with cool ideas with ChatGPT for more landing pages. But yeah, that's just something that popped up.
Yeah, so the way I take it to market is pretty simple. I also not only look at that as a product that can make me money, but also as a lead magnet. So I think that if I'm a consultant or person who does this for a living, it's very cool to build this and then offer it for free. And the reason why you want to offer it for free is you're limited. So you say, I'll do like 10 tags for you or something like that, like something of that kind. And then I'll sell templates for specific websites. So a set of tags. So templates for e-commerce, templates for SaaS, templates for like membership sites, whatever. And then the templates will be something that the consultant writes and then sells on top of the product. So you have the baseline thing automated for you. But if you want opinionated stuff, then you can use the templates. And I think that's very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because I think also it might be like, because it's a one-time thing, you might want to just give the value out. The question is, are there a lot of consultants that do Google Tag Manager setup or stuff like that? Is that like a known thing?
It's a very saturated business, which is why differentiating yourself with something like that is pretty cool. I know of a guy who charges up to, let's say for like a normal website, he can charge like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, because he knows all the ins and outs in analytics, and people are willing to spend money. I'm pretty sure that for e-commerce, the numbers are even higher because there's so many steps in the conversion step. But for SaaS, I know a guy who does it for like $5-6 a pop.
I guess that
good money.
You could also create like a community for it, like because it's so customized. The question is, how many of those usages and tags do you actually need? If it's in the thousands, then I might create also a community and maybe even sell like an operating system Notion site through Gumroad and just give that tool for free, the actual setup. But yeah, it's a game. I think you can kind of like be the king of this Google Tag setup thing.
So the analytics mania guy that I showed, his name is Julius, the tab I showed in the beginning. He is basically that. He's the master of like Google Tag Manager snippets. I'm not sure if he has like something like that, but Julius, if you are listening to the podcast, please just take this idea, do something with it. It's very cool. And also, I think that if you're not Julius, you can generally come up with great ideas from around the web. There's a bunch of different websites that do custom tag snippets. I do believe that if you are a consultant doing this, you might be worried that this will take your job. So I will let you know that it will take your job anyways. So you might as well be the person who does that instead of the AI, or at least own the AI algorithm behind it. I like it because you can start very small and it's project-based. So basically you go per website, right? I mean, if you price it per website, like $30 per website, you're essentially giving, so there's two paths here. Either you charge per website and that's like the service, or you give it for free and then charge for the templates. I prefer charging for the templates because the templates can be sold for more. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. I got many comments.
Yeah, just one last thing. If you're thinking about coming up, like you're having a hard time coming up with ideas, Tom, what do you think about going to like service website or applications like HubSpot or Hotjar and looking what they're doing, like at their niche features, and seeing if you can create those types of tags? Because I guess they have a lot of features that are relating to what you'd want to have in the Google Tag Manager.
I really think this is cool. And if you like start scraping these websites and figuring out their patterns for their own analytics, that's super cool. Do it like HubSpot, do it like Salesforce, do it like whatever. Not sure if all of those use Google Analytics, but if they do, super cool.
Awesome. Okay, let's wrap it up.
All right.
It's a short and sweet one.
Indeed, indeed.
See you later.
Bye, folks.